Hey, Cardinals fans, welcome to the Redbird Rundown. I'm Andy, joined with Matt and Jonathan. And in this episode, I'm going to take you back to school for another advanced metric session. This time, we're going to focus on a few defensive metrics. So you can email the pod at redbirdrundown@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at RedbirdRundown2, on Blue Sky at Redbird Rundown, and find us on Facebook at Redbird Rundown Podcast. Please also just take a second, guys, and follow, rate, and review the pod. It really helps us out a lot on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And we always appreciate your support and want to grow the show so that more Cards fans can join in with us and get a conversation going about what we expect out of this coming season. But before we get into the rundown, I have been playing a video game pretty often here. I've gotten into Marvel Rivals. Matt, have you heard of this game, Matt?
I have heard of this game. I have not downloaded it. I considered doing it today and playing it with the girls, but yeah.
Oh, I would play with you 100%.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cross-platform?
it's cross-platform. Absolutely. It is Xbox, PlayStation, PC, all of it, free to download. And Matt, did you ever play Overwatch? Do you know what Overwatch is?
I am aware of Overwatch. I never played it. I got to think that it's similar if you're bringing it up, though.
Yeah, very similar. Control a hero. There's 6 people on a team, just like Overwatch. There's roles to play. There's people who are, quote unquote, they call them vanguards. Think of them as tanks that take a lot of damage, throwing shields up, support in terms of deflecting damage away from the damage dealers. And then there's people who play support, aka healers. It is. I played it, and I told Jonathan and one of our friends this. I feel like I'm getting older because I was left completely. I mean, I definitely am, but like I felt it, and like I was like visually and audibly like everything was overstimulated by what was happening. There was so much happening.
That's funny.
And there's so much to learn. There's just things flying everywhere, and it felt like absolute chaos until you kind of get a few rounds under your belt. But it's one of those games that like you look up and it's like, how has it been 3 hours? It feels like I've been in here for like 20 minutes. So I'm definitely enjoying Marvel Rivals. I know it's very popular right now. It is definitely a fun game to play.
So is this your sales pitch? Because I'm older than you. You like need a guy whose kill ratio to be worse than yours on the squad?
No, I mean, it's just fun. I mean, it's definitely one of those games that's going to be more fun with people. Like you get to voice chat and talk rather than like pinging things. They try to communicate things in game, but it's just one of those that like if you can just say, hey, Wolverine is like jumping down my throat right now. Can you come get him off me? Like stuff like that. It's just easier. And I do like the IP. My kids came in while I was playing, and I was Captain America, and like that was cool.
You didn't want it though. You didn't want it as Captain America. You didn't want it,
and that's why you chose him. I love it. I've been playing a little bit too, Andy. It's pretty good.
Have you?
Yeah. I downloaded.
What are you playing? Today you did?
I did it yesterday. I played it just to see it, but I played
Helia. All right, boys, I'm gonna get it today.
Yep, and I played.
We're gonna play.
I'm still snowed in.
Mantis.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty interesting. It really is. Like, here's the last thing I'll say about it. The art direction is really unique, right? It has the feel to Overwatch, like the polish of a first-person shooter. It's in the third person, so you can't really call it an FPS, but it's a very interesting game. Art style is beautiful if you like that kind of stuff. But I do agree with Andy. I'm not near as old as you, right?
Whoa,
near as old.
All right.
But I still feel the same way where I get on and I'm like, oh
yeah. I
gotta strap in.
And like you need a second to like my wife will come in and ask me a question and I'm just like, I think I need like 5 minutes to decompress. Right. Just like my heart rate's high, blood pressure's high, probably. Like, it's just like
he's locked, boys. He's locked.
Yeah, and then back in the day, we're sitting 25 feet away from a 17-inch TV playing Halo 3 at like literal pro level.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, how the times have changed.
Wow.
Yeah, and so definitely, I know that I've got to, as I've gotten older, I've got to like kind of throttle that back in terms of like how much I'm getting into it, because I just remember in college years, like playing Call of Duty, it's just like the toxicity it's a real thing, guys. We gotta keep that under control. That's something you gotta learn as you get older. Like you gotta learn your limit, and when you're tilted, you gotta put her down before you start chucking controllers places.
No need for a walk-off wisdom. We just got a lead-off wisdom today.
Yeah,
That's exactly
Love it.
right.
Love it.
you're welcome. Well, let's just go right into school, right? So I love these sections just because it forces me as a casual person who knows played, I know about baseball, but it forces me to quantify something that most people are just kind of like, oh yeah, they're fast. But how fast is fast? Or oh, they have good range out in the outfield. These metrics that we're going to talk about today, which are going to be outs above average, defensive runs saved, and ultimate zone rating, all defensive. They're all very intertwined. The calculations are a little bit different what they're doing. But let's start with the first one that I want to talk about, which is the ultimate zone rating. And that one was unique to me in the fact that first, how it's derived. So first of all, again, just at a basic level, you heard these things: outs above average, defensive run saved, and ultimate zone rating, and you might have zoned out. Okay, so tune back in real quick. Come back with me. This is just simply, guys, a way for coaches, people who watch, the players themselves to know how they stack against a league average. And that average, it's very math heavy. Okay. And again, don't tune out. Don't turn away. I know I just said math again, but it's based on like league averages of like balls that are hit. Where are they? How hard are they hit? How far away are they from the person? So basically it's like this. I may consider myself to be fast, right? But when I am comparing myself to a national level as a runner, let's say I'm a regionally or locally pretty quick 35-year-old dude. Okay. When you get to a national level, I am no longer, it doesn't matter. Like I'm not in the same league as them. So these metrics are a good way to be like we talked about last pod about Brendan and Lars. They aren't exactly the fastest people out there. So this defensive metric, it's not all about speed, but you would imagine that someone who is fast is going to be able to get to a ball faster and to balls that are further away than people who are slower. That's just, it just is. If I'm faster than you, Jonathan, I'm going to be able to get a ball a few feet further away from me than you are.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
is this Andy? Is this a team stat or like an individual stat?
it can be both.
Okay.
The Cardinals, you can have one that is the entire team. So they kind of like mesh everything together and give you an overall rating. You can get one that is per player. So ultimate zone rating is basically compiled off of 6 years worth of data. They have a running total. So for 6 years, they just run and they just literally log a ball. Let's say a ball is hit 42 feet away from you and it's in the air for 4 seconds. They have a league average. They can tell you whether or not what percentage that ball is caught and what percentage it's not caught.
Yeah. Okay? And it makes sense that they're doing it 6 years out too, because you don't want to have like an anomaly year where it really messes things up. So it's good. This is a pretty solid statistic because you're taking a longer run at the data, not just year to year.
Well, and they're using those StatCast cameras, which to Andy's point can tell you exactly how fast the ball's hit, how fast is the guy going after it. So they really have some incredible data that, again, they just didn't have in 1964. So this is nothing against the old way of playing baseball. It's just like we have this data now. You can look.
Yeah, exactly. You have the amount of information that you can handle, like off of the cloud servers, cameras, all of that. The computing processing power, all of that has allowed the stat guys to be able to, like you said, just have all this information. So it basically in an ultimate zone rating, okay, the field is divided into several zones. Okay. So where balls are hit. So if we think about the baseball diamond, up the middle is going to be where typically most of the balls are going to be hit. So that those positions are affected: shortstop, second base, center field. Okay. So those positions kind of have a higher, like their calculations are just a bit different for the corners: first base, third base, right field, left field.
They're playing all Madden as far as the football game goes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They've cranked up the difficulty level.
So they then break it down, these positions, and make it to where they look at crazy stuff. They look at like, okay, breaking towards. So let's say you're staying at the second baseman's position. Okay, looking at home plate. To your left, as you're looking in that position, is first base.
Yeah.
And to your right is the shortstop and the actual second base. So they break it down to what are your defensive players going when plays going backwards, like over your head, going to your left towards first, going to your, all of that is just all that data. Every single time you make a play, it is categorized and put into this system, dumped out so that you can get a rating that is fairly reliable about, are you good at making plays to your left? How about to the right? Right? What if you have to charge a ball? All of that is going to be. So the ultimate zone rating compares a player's actual number of plays that they made to just the average. That again, it's kind of like WAR, like 100
is for their zone. So a center
right.
fielder's zone, how many plays is he making versus the average center fielder?
Right. So, you know, is it a catching a grounder? So it doesn't quite look at. There's a couple of the other metrics are going to be looking at like your arm strength. They're going to be looking at that kind of stuff. The ultimate zone rating is more zoned in on right, how far away is about like your range basically. Because your speed, that is all that kind of stuff. So like one of the guys that they use as an example is the center fielder for the Rays, and they just kind of break down why he was such a good player. And so he turned his range was absolutely nuts. Right. So obviously as an outfielder like Michael Ciani, you just want to be able to have him out there on the horse and just run around like crazy, because they use 27 feet per second as an average speed. Like if you are a new guy, like that doesn't have enough information, they use just a default speed. So basically what they're saying is if you run above 27 feet per second, which is pretty quick,
might be better.
You're going to be better at that. Right. So I just appreciate the fact that there's hard math. Like instead of being like, oh, that guy's fast, you can get a number and be like, yeah, no, he's this fast. And that means that he can go this far.
Yeah.
Did you guys look up 2024 Cardinals by UZR? Did you see the pluses and minuses?
I looked at the last 3 years. Yeah.
Okay.
It's extremely telling. Do you have the data, Matt? Like, do you have the numbers?
I could just run you guys down the 2024. So
go ahead.
On the plus side, Michael Ciani, who's a center fielder and played fourth outfielder some, right? Not a good hitter at all, but is a star as far as UZR is concerned. Just outrageously good. Newt was in the plus category in UZR. Donnie was in the plus category in left field and UZR. And this one surprised me a little bit. Alec Burleson category at UZR first base specifically. In the negatives are Gorman at second base, Burley in the outfield was negative as far as UZR is concerned, and Mason Wynn at shortstop. Now he's going to come up. He's going to be positive in some other defensive metrics, but Wynn, as far as his range is concerned, at short, at least for last year. Now sometimes these stats can take a little bit of time to normalize, so we may see better UZR next year for Mason. As far as that's concerned, his range is not as good as some other shortstops are concerned.
And I looked at it. That's interesting about Wynn, because typically the StatCast and advanced metrics really like him a lot. I looked at it from a team perspective.
Okay.
So like us so you're adding all those numbers he just mentioned together to get a collective result. And the numbers do really prove what you saw with your eyes. So from going backwards, 2024, we had a negative 1.6 UZR as a team. That tracks pretty, I'd say, right about on the money. Like, I think we were an okay defensive team.
Pretty close to average.
There were some holes, as Matt just mentioned.
Yeah.
This is where it really starts to become evident for me. 2023, we were a minus 2.9, right? That makes sense. Our defense was abysmal in 2023. Our whole team was abysmal.
Yep.
And then here's the last one. In 2022, we were plus 6.3 UZR. We were second in the league.
Harry
Bades, Tommy, Nato was in his full power, right?
Yeah.
But it makes sense. Like if you hear Andy's explanation, did a great job, and then you look after seeing all these games and all these years, like that totally makes sense to me how those are our numbers.
Right. I think it is. I think just as a larger point too, philosophically, I think it's much easier to zone in on offense. Like in our last episode,
I
we
agree.
spent more time talking about Donnie and Newt's offense, but and let's not be, let's not joke around. In baseball, you have more offensive opportunities than you have defensive opportunities. That's for sure. But that doesn't mean that your defense doesn't matter at all. Like, it's an important side of the ball. And so I love that we have these numbers where you don't just have to rely on some guy sitting in the stands being like, yeah, Bader can really go get it. You can actually see, yes, Bader can really go get it. And my God, so can Michael Ciani. Michael Ciani can go get the ball.
Right. Yes, well, because offensively, I think it's easy. Like if you're in the stands, as a casual person, it is very easy to see if someone is good offensively.
Yes.
It's not hard. Whereas defensively, the plays that people get the crowd going, like a diving catch, or you're up against the wall, or you're crashing into something. Okay, let's take me versus Harrison Bader. If I make a diving catch out in the outfield, my range, like I might get the crowd amped up, like, oh my gosh, you just go for the ball. But Harrison Bader is sitting under that same ball for
it's a can of
seconds.
Corn.
Yeah. And so no one in the stands defensively has a stopwatch.
Yeah.
And they're timing how the hang time of the ball in the air and like, oh my gosh, he just went and got that. And they can't tell you, oh, that was 120 feet away from that guy.
Yeah.
Like there's not that perception. You can't quantify that very easily versus like you hit a home run. Everybody knows like you hit a home run. That's easy to quantify.
Andy, I feel like you would have had a lot of Jim Edmonds dives, Matt, real quick. You know how Jimmy would have gone? He had it. He was under it. Yeah. He's like, I'm just going to peel off at the end here and dive.
Yeah. Well, speaking to Edmonds, I remember when he played that the announcers would all be like, oh, he plays such a shallow center field because he's easier to go back on the ball. This UZR stuff, again, teams can use this. And you know how those guys will pull out of their back pocket? They've got their like defensive positioning on every single hitter.
Yeah.
And this has to play into that. Like, you're better going to your right. So let's position you to take more balls to your right. I think all this stuff is fascinating, where guys are standing, how they're playing the ball, where they're going back or in. Like, this is such great information. And if us morons on this podcast can look at this, the Cardinals organization, they're all over this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, let's go into what you just said. That transitions really well into the next one that we want to get into here, the defensive run saved, because that one is broken down by a lot of places in terms of like, if you have not shifted your defense, meaning for the casual person, that the players are standing in the traditional places that they usually stand, versus a shifted defense means that the second baseman or the shortstop and the third baseman are all moving around, or the outfield is moving, because there's data to support that this hitter is hitting. Like if you track all the balls that he hits, hey, he's mostly hit it to the right side of the diamond. So everyone, let's stand more people on the right side because we're more likely to get an out from this guy because he's hitting it over there a lot. So they break this one down, defensive runs saved, into non-shifts, shifts, and then they also factor in like outfield positioning, like you just said with Jim Edmonds, like shallow, or they shifted over, they back up against the warning track, all that kind of stuff. You can break it down by position, Jonathan. You can break it down as a compiled thing of a team. And so just to understand what a defensive run saved is, okay, so again, the UZR is like your range. How far can you get? This one is kind of like, how many runs did your defense save the team? Like you're affecting the scoreboard with this one. So the last one was like, okay, how good are you against your peers? This one is, how much did you save? How many runs did you keep off of the scoreboard?
And run prevention is huge for Major League Baseball teams. I mean, you can be good at offense, but if your run prevention is terrible, right, you end up as a 500 team. So having great run prevention is a key to baseball.
So obviously they are interwoven. So obviously to have defensive runs saved, you need to have good range. Again, myself versus Harrison Bader, you're going with Harrison Bader out there making catches.
I don't know, Andy. Don't sell yourself short.
So we also have on top of that, so something that is not included in UZR as much, it is factored in almost all of the defensive metrics, but arm strength and accuracy of fielders are in this one, the defensive run saved. And how well they're positioning themselves are factored in this as well, and decision making. So those things are kind of harder to do, I would imagine, as someone who's going to make a formula. How do you quantify decision making? They figured out a way, the mathematicians have, and it just kind of gives you a nice, easy to digest kind of stat. So let's just go to actual numbers. Where did the Cardinals sit last year and this one? How many runs did the Cardinals defense save? We were about smack dab in the middle of the pack. Okay. There's 30 teams.
Yep.
We were ranked number 13.
Okay.
Have you guys looked at all these stats? Like, do you have?
I have the individual for 2024, the plus and minus again.
Okay. So we had glaring holes at the pitcher position this past year.
Yep. Okay, well, one of our pitchers was wearing suspenders. Does that count?
You take that back about Lance Lynn. Yeah. He's magnificent in every way. You take it back.
And then right field.
Yes. Yeah, that checks out.
So we had the highest at shortstop this past year.
Yeah, this is where the interesting thing to me.
And third base.
Wynn didn't rate very highly at UZR, but he was top of the league at shortstop in defensive runs saved. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. And again, I don't know. Next year we'll see. Like, it's his rookie season, so maybe these statistics need a little more data from Mason to kind of see. But I went into the Gold Glove process thinking he was like locked down, no question about it. And then if you like take it by defensive runs saved, he was literally the most valuable shortstop defender in Major League Baseball, which is incredible. If you take it by UZR, he's below average. So maybe that's why he didn't win. You know, like maybe that.
Well, and I wonder something. I guess I didn't realize in defensive runs saved they factor in arm strength and accuracy. Mm-hmm. Those are two words I would use to describe Mason Wynn, either plus or minus, right? Like, he throws the ball hard as crap, but he's always he's not always accurate, right? Yeah. So if you're in like the third or fourth row behind the dugout, be careful, right? Because that net's not going to save you from that. But I wonder if that's why he scored so much higher than like Dansby, Swanson, or Francisco Lindor, the other two guys you kind of see up at the top of these defensive metrics for shortstop. Right. It's just because he throws the ball so hard. Does that help him? Does that edge him higher
100%.
In this specific one? Yeah.
So overall, the Cardinals saved 29 runs last year just through their defensive play. Now, the Toronto Blue Jays were number one in this metric. They saved 102 runs.
You know what's interesting about that, Andy, is I wanted to ask you guys this. So if you look at the top three, Andy, I know you have this, but I think it's Toronto, Cleveland, and the Dodgers.
Yep.
And there was a clear drop-off after number two. Cleveland was pretty good, but then the Dodgers had 66. It's like it's 30, literally 33 difference there.
Yep.
What do you think about the correlation between being good defensively and making the playoffs? Because Toronto did not make the playoffs. Isn't that right? They didn't make the playoffs last year.
No, they did not.
But they saved a head and shoulders more runs than everybody else. Like, what do we think about that?
Some of Toronto's hitters were down last year. And again, I think that speaks to the point I made individually earlier. A team just has way more offensive chances than they have defensive chances, right? Yeah. You're going to make 27 put-outs in you're going to hopefully take way more bats than that. So I think defense is important. I think offense is more important, but I think defense is a key indicator in success. So just Toronto's offense wasn't good enough, right? Is what I'm thinking. Or their pitchers gave up too many home runs.
There it is.
Like, things that were unable to be
walks
against.
There it is.
Yeah.
And I wonder too, if we went back and looked, I was just briefly trying to look it up and I couldn't find it quickly, but how many one-run games did the Blue Jays lose? Because I feel like when you look at things like this, yes, their defense is probably bailing them out, but they're just not scoring enough. I mean, we saw that most of the year for us is, in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, we had to rely on JoJo, Kittredge, and Helsley. And if it wasn't them, we probably weren't going to win.
And they won us a lot of games. They really did.
So, like, if you reverse that may have what happened to Toronto is they just were not on the winning side of those very close games.
Yeah. So Wynn graded out excellent here. Siani, again, so UZR high, DRS high. Siani can play some defense, man. Arenado popped up as positive here. And then I thought this one was real interesting. Pedro Pajes popped up as a plus in terms of catching for DRS, whereas Herrera was our worst DRS person on the entire team as a catcher. So if last year, if you're a fan and you're getting frustrated, like, why are they playing Pajes over Herrera? This is some data that's pretty important. And catching defenses, like, that may be the one position where it is more important what you do on defense than what you do on offense.
I think Yachty should have got DRS tattooed on his neck on the other side.
I think that's what those symbols mean.
Oh, my apologies. I didn't understand. Yeah, that makes sense.
Burley, Walker, and Gorman were all bad as far as DRS is concerned. So Burley in the outfield, excuse me. Burley at first base was good and the zone reading, but bad defensive run saved.
Quick on Burley. When you watched him throughout the year, I honestly, I did not think he was a negative on defense in the outfield. Like the eye test, I didn't think he was crazy. He's not Siani, but I never looked at him and Walker the same way.
Okay.
Every time he come up, it's true though. Like what you're saying is it's true, but I just like from the eye test, I guess I just didn't realize he's probably not making
the sprint speed
he should be making. Where Walker, like you were scared what was going to happen.
Right. Walker probably got to more balls and
exactly.
Then it looked real bad versus Burley just didn't get to some of them.
Because Burley would like run a good route and like cut it off. You're like, oh, okay. But then I guess if you look at the rest of the league, it's like that probably should have been a pop out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
This is why I love this stuff. Like you can start to tell it's more than just, descriptive things from the stands. You can actually look up and see. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last one we want to touch on today is outs above average. And this one is just slightly different than the others because you guys know if you watch football at all, sometimes they have like these Amazon stat casts, right? Yeah. And they give you like a ball is thrown and they can now calculate based on league averages. Again, they just compile all the information into a huge database and it's thrown this far, that all that stuff is looked at. And then they give you a percentage of like what percent chance they think that wide receiver is going to make that catch, like 12%. Okay?
I love all of it. I love it.
So that's what this is. Basically, it's like it's the baseball equivalent to that pass is thrown. It has a 12% chance of being caught. Did the wide receiver come down with the catch or not? That's a positive rating if he did. It's the same idea with outs above average. Okay. There is a window to where there should be basically automatic outs, like a pop out, like just a pop fly, lazy pop fly. You got 18 years to get underneath it. You've got it. Those are all considered things that should be like, you should get those. Then there's on the other side of it, there's automatic hits. Okay. Where it's just like, there's no shot in God's green earth you're going to catch that ball at all. It's hit too hard. It's hit too far away from anybody. You're not going to, it's just a hit. Okay. Then there's the gray area. And that's where this comes in. And that's where people can make shine and outs above average. It is comparing, can you make the 10% catches? Can you make the 5%? Can you make the 25? So if you miss a ball that should be, the average is 25%. Let's say 25% of the guys in the league can make this catch and you miss it. That's docked from your score, your overall score. You lose that in your formula. So this one is a little more like in terms of like overall totals. Okay. What is a good out above average? Again, it's the name says it all. It's how many outs do you make above the average player in MLB? So the highest and the one that I have here from 2019, a little bit outdated here, but just wanted to give you some context here. The highest outs above average in the entire league was 23. Okay. It was Victor Robles from the Washington Nationals. 23. Harry Bates was on there 2019 as a Cardinals center fielder. He had 13. Okay. So these are not enormously like, it's not like,
right, 114 and 84. And they're low numbers.
They're low.
Yeah.
Right. They're relatively low. But what I love about this is the fact that it breaks it down. It's really nice to look at the graphs because it shows you the gray area very well. And it grades them in terms of 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, which I enjoy looking at that kind of stuff. And so you can get, we hear like, oh, he's a 5-star recruit.
Yeah.
You can get that idea right there.
That was a 5-star catch.
That was a 5-star catch.
Yeah.
That was less than 10% of the guys in the league can make that catch, and he made it.
Yeah.
So it also breaks it down in terms of like a success rate, like a percentage, like the amount, like for example, Harry Bates in 2019, they formulated that he should have made 88% of the plays out that he could have. Okay. Like that's of all the balls hit at him, the league average was 88%. 88% of those would be caught. He made it at a 93% clip. So he improved. He was 5% better than what they even expected. So it's just a nice way to say, okay, this is what this formula is expecting you to do based on the league average guy, just like a formless, nameless guy. Okay, that's what you should be making. And then here's what he's actually doing. I really like outs above average. I love all these because again, it's really difficult to sit in the stands and really without seeing guys play the same ball at the same time. You'd almost have to have the outfilders out there at the same time running for the same ball for you to judge that. Like, oh, he's better than that guy. Because like even if it's the two, let's say that the Cubs and the Cardinals are playing, it's really hard from the stands to know, even if you saw the Cardinals center fielder and then you saw the Cubs center fielder, which one is making better plays because the balls are hit differently.
Right.
You're not a good judgment of speed out in the outfield. Like all those are difficult. So this is a great way to just like, hey, no, this is why, like maybe the guys the sportscasters who've been there for 45 years really do know when someone's like, wow, they're making some good plays because they've seen so much. But to the average person, it's just like, well, it kind of looks good. But this is a way to be like, no, he's faster. He can go further. He can catch balls better. He's making 10% catches, and he truly is
objective,
special.
Right? Like you're just stripping everything else out and seeing like how hard is it. I got two questions for you guys about this one. If you want to try to guess this, so we'll start with I don't want to say the easier one, but I think it is the easier one. So top 5 Cardinals in OAA. Who were they? And bonus points if you can guess how many you have.
This last year for 2024.
I'm sorry, yes,
I should not play. I have these written down right in front of me.
Okay, Andy.
Okay.
You have any guesses?
Ciani.
Okay, yep.
Check.
Donnie.
Yep.
Check.
He visited Matt on his grill.
Okay, Nolan.
Yes.
We're still in there, huh? Mason?
Okay. Yep. Yes. Okay. All right, Bob. You're down to one more. This is a tough one.
I only wrote down 4, so I'm going to play here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm going to say Pages again.
No, but that was a good guess. Andy, you got a guess?
Lars.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
He was a 1. So just to go down that list, Ciani had 16, Nolan had 9, Donnie had 6, Wynn had 3, Newt had 1. So I think the eye test proves if you watch this year, that's pretty accurate. There were several defenders better than the others.
What I like specifically about this stat, and Andy does a great job of talking to the casual fans. So you'll notice we haven't mentioned the word error at all.
Yeah, it's true.
However, I think outs above average like kind of factors this in. So if you're taking a ground ball that's like 95% of guys would make that play and you boot it, you get voted down for that. So errors are kind of subjective as far as that's concerned, but what's not subjective is like StatCast data for the last 6 years, 92% of second basemen have made this play and you didn't. You know what I mean? Like so it kind of takes that. There's always the thing on the broadcast like, well, it's the hometown score. Is he going to give him an error and a hit on that? You can just take that out of the game. We know now. We know.
Yeah. So that's
because
interesting.
again, you're saying like my error, is different than Harrison Bader's error, right? Because however they're quantifying an error, like was it reasonable that you could get to that ball and make that play? I would have errors all over the place because I'm not even getting to the balls that Harrison Bader is getting to.
Yeah,
right.
Or he might get an error on a play that 5% of center fielders make. And I got to tell you, I think that error is less bad than one that's on a 95% play. Right. And so I just love all these stats so much because they quantify so much to you. So my big takeaways as far as this is concerned is like, do not let Michael Ciani go.
No.
The dude cannot hit a lick, but hands team late in the game, get Walker out of there, put Ciani in. That's exactly what they should be doing over and over and over again. I think Mason Wynn is grading out as a special defender. I don't think I need to go through the history of special shortstop defenders in St. Louis. That's good for us. I put Burley at first base. Goldschmidt, people would always say this on telecasts. This is something I noticed is that they say like, oh, Goldschmidt's a good first baseman. He did win some gold gloves, but late in his career, he did not grade out on these metrics as a good first baseman anymore. And so I think maybe Burley has a chance to be a decent first baseman and the guy can hit. So like maybe that's okay.
Let's see what Willie can do. I know they're going to transition him over there. I'm really interested in that. I'm really interested because he was like a sub defender behind the plate.
That's
I'm
true.
curious
Yeah.
to see what first base is, but
yeah,
I agree about the Burley take. Do you guys know, real quick, top 10 positions? Can you guess, like, of the positions, who are recurring the most in OAA?
center field.
Okay, that's one. There's 4 of them.
Oh,
Second.
shortstop.
Yep.
Second base.
Yep.
Catcher? Probably not catcher. No, probably not. Maybe
And
third base.
Third base.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right,
corner.
real quick. Which one of those recurred the most? So top 10, which of those positions recurred the most on that list?
Center field.
Infield.
It is not. It's shortstop.
Interesting.
Oh,
Shortstop. And
I guess you think there's more ground balls hit than fly. I bet that's probably.
I think that's why.
Just more opportunities.
You know who number 8 on this list is since 2020? Can you guess?
It's shortstop.
Just in general, number 8 on the MLB since 2020. On
Nolan
outside
Arenado.
Tommy
Arenado.
Tommy
No.
Two-Bag Edmonds.
The 2 bags, boy.
Pretty impressive list to be on. Pretty impressive list.
Wow.
Love all these stats, though. Absolutely love them. This is one of the things I love about baseball the most. Just this right here.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah. So going forward here, do we think the Cardinals are we in good shape defensively? Like let's end this episode talking about that for a minute or so. How do we think? What's 2025 going to look like defensively from the St. Louis Cardinals?
I think it's going to be better behind the plate, Andy. I mean, I'm just thinking behind the plate first because Pages is going to play more. If Ivan has to play because of his hitting, so he'll probably DH if I was guessing. Like they're going to want him to hit, so Pages will probably be behind the plate, so that would be better than Willie. I think first off,
my 22nd take is it depends on what happens with Nolan because Nolan still is defensive.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
So I think that there it is. That's my take.
Yeah, that is interesting too. As a final point, is if Nolan goes, and look, there's 100 reasons why I think it's time for him to go. Gorman does not grade out as a good second baseman, and if you shift him to third, maybe there's less reaction time. Maybe he's got to cover less ground. Maybe that's better, but he is not a good defensive third baseman or defensive second baseman. So logic would tell you he's probably not great over there too. That could hurt the team some. Because that's a lot of right-handed hitters smashing ground balls over there, and Nolan is vacuuming up and getting outs out of it.
That's a really good point. I agree.
Yeah.
I think we'll be similar to what we were this year. I really do. Similar, if not worse.
In the average-ish. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, boys. Well, I love that conversation about defensive metrics. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in to the Redbird Rundown, your go-to spot for all things St. Louis Cardinals. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review the show to help us grow the Redbird Rundown community. Follow us on Twitter at Redbird Rundown 2, on Blue Sky at Redbird Rundown, and find us on Facebook at Redbird Rundown Podcast for all the latest news, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Until next time, keep your rally caps on, and of course, let's go Cards.